T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's your Manchester.
I know what it is now, it's my doing. Right, hello everybody and welcome to this evening's Your Manchester. I've just noticed what I've been doing for the past few weeks. It's not actually our director's fault, it's my fault in the editing, everybody. How are we, everybody? We have got one amazing show lined up for you today. Hello, Michelle.
Sorry, no.
No.
Zebra Carol.
Zebra Carol is here, everybody, as my co-host today. How are you, Flower?
Oh, I'm not too bad. I've been busy.
I believe you've got some really important events going on.
They've been. This is what's happened. So we did a studio seminar for the United Nations.
Yeah.
75th anniversary.
Yeah.
Launched the People's Hub website. And also as well, we did it with some of my students as well. So it was like a multi-camera. It's like we were copying you. Multi-camera, all of that.
Oh, it's got to be done with a multi-camera.
Oh,
it really has.
Definitely.
And you've been talking to some quite interesting people, haven't you?
Yeah, from Nigeria with some projects, because we call the actual event Afternoon Tea with the SDGs.
I'm so glad you got that right, because I've been doing my research this week, viewers, and I've been calling it the STDs. But anyway, that's another story altogether, isn't it? I'm sorry.
Sustainable Development Goals. It's the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Number 1 is poverty, right through to number 17, which is partnership working.
You're doing wonders. And now, I've got to bring this in. Now, you told me not to mention this, but a little bit tells me you might be working with somebody quite important from Disney.
It's in the bag already. I've done it.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah. So in the biz, we call it DCOM.
What? DCOM?
DCOM. Disney Channel original movies. So yes, I interviewed the vice president of Disney Channel original movies. She's responsible for like High School Musical, Descendants, Zombies. It's just awesome. And she was like spilling the beans because you know how nosy I am.
Yeah.
So I was like, what project have you got going on? So she told me, Sneakerella. You'll like this.
Sneakerella.
Instead of a girl, it's a boy, and he's designing his own sneakers. That's pumps and trainers for us northern folk.
Well, I don't know what to say about that, do I? It seems to be good. I think next year's going to be the year of Cinderella-style stories, because we've got Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella coming out as well.
Yes, yeah, I think so as well, yeah.
It's going to be amazing. But we have got a marvellous show lined up for you today, everybody. We really have. Who have we got on the show today?
So we have, can we show our guest on the right, who's in the studio, the wonderful Esther Morrison, known as Foodie Fan Stockport. And I'm just waiting for a rapturous round of applause because she needs that.
Can you not hear it?
Yeah, I can.
I can hear it.
In the distance.
It's working.
And we have, so her company's Paprika. We'll find out more about that later.
Yes.
And we've also got Matt Baker. He's high street campaigner, but he's also a writer, and he's done some fantastic things connected to Westminster, but we won't go down that route. But he is a high street campaigner. And we've got Ngozi. Now, Ngozi, I will not attempt your surname, Ngozi. We will phonetically break that down together when you're on. And she's a painter, not painter, she's a photographer, an artist, and she also contributes to Disability Online as well. And finally, we've got Miranda from Fair Shares, Greater Manchester, and they're doing some fantastic work. You know, this sort of end child poverty and the school meals and all of that kind of stuff. they have worked together with Marcus Rashford, MBE, Lord Rashford, that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
To feed the children and also people who are living in poverty at the moment. So we'll hear more about the fair share.
And I must just say, a quick mention as well, our clothing today, everybody, has been supplied by a fabulous company called Isabella Loves. All clothing available from IsabellaLoves.com, and we'll be talking to the creator of that lovely clothing line very, very soon. In the meantime, if you want to get involved in our lovely channel, all you need to do is check out these links.
It's your Manchester.
Right then, everybody, we are going to be now joined by our first guest, and his name is Mr. Matt Baker, and he's a high street campaigner, and he comes from a policy background, having worked in Westminster and Manchester Centre for Public Policy and Management. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome.
Oh, fantastic. Hi, Matt. How are you? You're looking
Very
great.
well. Thanks, Carol. You too.
Behind you.
Sorry?
Is that a bookshelf behind you?
I think it is, yeah.
It's the obligatory bookshelf behind people when they're being interviewed.
It's just my corner of the room.
Now, I've got to ask, first of all, what is a high street campaigner?
Well, I mean, in my case, I got into, I suppose, high street campaigning from. I used to work as a political advisor and started to take an interest in high streets, not least because, as well as being incredibly important to the sort of fortunes of local economies and prosperity, I could see they were also incredibly important for civic pride, building a sense of community, strong identity, a sense of belonging. You know, and I long felt that it was a neglected area of policy. This is when I worked in Westminster. I was then fortunate enough to be invited onto the veteran retailer Bill Grimsey, who used to be the chief executive of Iceland and Wix. I was invited onto his policy team, and I've worked with him on a number of high street policy reviews. There's quite a few online. The Grimsey Review. We did one this summer called Build Back Better, and we've lobbied central and local government ever since. And we're really pleased to see government, committing some really big spending now onto high streets.
I mean, we're dedicating this show to, shop local, small business, and love your local market, which was a campaign a couple of years ago. And we've got Esther here. I've tried to connect you with Esther, and you've still not managed to see her. So here she is. Can you tell us about some of the successes in championing local business?
Well, I mean, firstly, when you talk about markets, and I'm sure, Esther can give you some great stuff about markets. But, in Manchester, there is a really interesting market I'd like to just give out a quick shout out for, and that's Radcliffe Market. Radcliffe in Bury. It was named recently in the Power to Change report, singled out as a great example of a sort of community-owned market. And it is owned by local people, and it's a really amazing sort of community sort of hub now, and a real big catalyst for regeneration. Great place to go, and if you've not been to it, please do go there. For me, independent shops are very, very important. They're not just about the sort of character of communities; they're really the heart of communities. And I really want to sort of champion them at this point now. And my message this Christmas is: don't give all your money to Jeff Bezos at Amazon. Please do support your local shops. 125,000 people have lost their jobs this year in retail. That's an awful amount of people. And this is the golden quarter now for retailers. It's supposed to be the best period of the year, but obviously because of lockdown, it's probably not going to be. But if we all, work very hard, think a bit more carefully this year about our Christmas shopping and spend locally, then we can keep a lot of people in jobs. So to me, that would be a big success.
Have high streets become a thing of the past these days, though?
No, they're just evolving. The 20th century model is very much a thing of the past. High streets can no longer be synonymous with just shopping. The high streets of the future, and I'm working with a lot of local authorities now and developing plans for future high streets, and ones that are really fit for purpose of the 21st century. They're going to be based around a sort of a community hub model, and that's going to see a lot more leisure, a lot more culture, a lot more food, a lot more housing, a lot more education, health, all these things to make a much more mixed high street. The experience economy was really taking off before the pandemic. In Manchester, there was actually more bars and restaurants opening than in London. And obviously the hospitality sector has been hammered very hard by the pandemic. But I do think there's a real sort of human need, to connect and to meet and to socialize. And I think the experience economy will really return with a vengeance when we come out of the pandemic. And it's worth noting that 100 years ago, when we came out of the last pandemic, the Spanish flu, the 1920s was a real sort of explosion of social change. And I think we're going to see something similar, not so much as them, but real urge to reconnect with fellow people. And that experience economy will take root very strongly on high streets again. So they're going to change.
Should shops that are on the high street then make sure they are definitely online?
Yes, they should. And if they're not, then they need to get online fast. The UK has the most sophisticated e-commerce market in Europe, and online shopping is growing. However, the good news is that during the pandemic, a lot of people have become more attached to their local community. So I think, a lot of the kind of suburbs, the districts of Greater Manchester could do well. We're already seeing footfall is not going great guns in Manchester. People are not necessarily returning to the city, but they're preferring to stay local. And I think when people were on their walks in lockdown and doing their daily exercise, they probably stumbled across shops and restaurants and cafes they didn't know about before. And I think there is a bigger attachment to local communities. So I think they can do well off that, but they definitely need to get online, yeah.
What I've noticed, Matt, as well, because I know that we don't live too far, so there's a couple of little villages. Those little shops, what they're doing is for the people who are not self-isolating, who don't stay in, that can go out, the sort of retired people who can drive, they're getting delivery jobs. So within 3 and 5 mile radius of people buying something from those local shops, there's retired people that are dropping things off, as sort of local delivery drivers from them, which I think that's really nice, sort of feeding stuff back into the local economy, and also as well into retired people's pockets, really.
Why did you look at me when you said retired then? How very dare you. I'm just resting.
Yeah, you're just resting. You're just resting.
So it's important for people to get behind the high streets. It's important for people within the online situations to not just go for the big people as we think of them. And it's a real service in a community, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, independent shops, smaller businesses, they employ, 3/4 of sort of, private sector jobs in this country, smaller businesses. So they're absolutely critical and fundamental. And, we heard the Chancellor today talking about, potential 2.6 million unemployed next year. So I think it's really critical that we keep our local economies strong and try and keep our spend, our money in local economies. And also, I'd say something else when you're thinking about your Christmas shopping this year. The supermarkets this year, the big four particularly, have had a monopoly. When we went into lockdown, you couldn't really shop anywhere else because everywhere else was closed. They've received, 2 billion in business rates relief from the Chancellor, and they didn't need that money. There's now a campaign for them to pay it back. The supermarkets have done really well this year. So when you're thinking of buying your meat, your fish, your alcohol, things like that this Christmas, I'd really urge you to, think about spending that in your local butchers, your local delis, your local wine shops to support local traders instead.
All right then.
When I called Matt and I asked him to come on the show, he said, "Oh, can you just make it quick? I'm just catching my local butchers because I need to get the meat for the weekend."
We all need to get our meeting for the weekend. It's true, very, very true. Matt Baker, thank you so much for your time today. Everybody get behind your local businesses. This is what today's about, isn't it?
It is. Get behind.
We really do. We've had some messages as well, some comments. So let's have a quick. Where am I at? We've had some comments. Let's have a quick look at them. Let's bring them all up. There we are. Paul Rudd, our weatherman, saying hello. We've got James Ludbank as well. He's saying hello. Patricia Doll says hello. And then this one from Ian Scott, everybody. Let's have a look at this. And this is, speaking about staying behind local businesses, yes. And of course, there's Ancoats, and there's these people that are doing these wonderful cards to keep people involved. Yeah. And this is a new card called Ancoats Plus, so get behind them as well. More details, obviously, on our website. Right then, well,
Oh,
I'm excited.
I bought a new lamp locally as well. I was obsessed. I had to tweet about it, and people thought it was really weird.
A new lamp, everybody. It's the future, isn't it?
The future. Yes, it was. It was like a nice bronze and black one. It's
Now,
lovely.
we are supposed to be bringing on our next guest, a photographer, aren't we? But she doesn't appear to be here. So what we'll do, since you're here, is we'll talk to you.
We'll talk to you, Esther.
Esther Morrison, go on. Describe her and sum her up.
Oh,
No,
right.
please.
Okay. Esther Morrison. Esther Morrison is, if she was a drink, she'd be something fizzy. She'd be something fizzy that when you drank some of her, you'd fall over. She has got so much energy. She is a fantastic foodie person, outdoor events, festival, food offering individual, but also as well, when we used to host an event called Foodie Friday in Stockport, we were the salt and pepper of that event.
Is that where paprika came from? Because you're thinking of a joint spice.
I was.
Very well done. Because
Yeah.
paprika
Paprika, you can be smoky, and you can be hot, and you can be sweet.
Oh.
So,
I think I'll have just that word on my tombstone.
yeah,
Yeah.
good for your hair.
Belinda Scandal. Paprika.
Paprika. Yeah.
Love it. And most importantly today, though, you brought in cake.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Which is more
My
important.
cake, in fairness, did not quite come out as expected because I didn't have two matching
Come and
size
pop
cake
it on
tins.
here in front of
Yeah,
our Carol. Let's
yeah.
have a look.
Carefully.
It took 5 people to bring this cake up the stairs.
Look at this. I'm going to slightly tilt it so
Yeah,
that
so
it
it
can
doesn't
be.
look wonky.
There we are. It's very healthy looking.
Can you describe it? Come on, describe this cake.
Well, it's Nigella's Malteser and chocolate cake,
Yeah.
but it's got Ovaltine in it instead of Horlicks.
Oh, I'll be asleep.
And I've squashed up lots of Maltesers to give you extra topping.
Lovely.
Oh,
I should have got a knife, shouldn't I?
I bought one with
Have
me.
you got a knife?
yeah,
Yeah.
Tell you what, have you got one maybe
I've got a cake slice in my handbag.
Oh, a cake slice in the handbag. Well, I'll tell you what.
Can I pass that over to you to put that back carefully? Have you got it?
Whoa, sweet child of mine. Where are you going with the cake?
Put it over there.
Just leave it there, love.
No, I'm not breathing on it. I want it over there. Put it to the side.
Oh, I'll tell you what, take a picture. Speaking of taking a picture, Ngozi joins us right now, everybody.
Oh,
Hello. How
oh,
are
hi.
you? Are you up? We nearly didn't have you there. We
I know.
nearly didn't have you.
It was
Now,
my
you're a
fault. It
It's
was
all
my
right.
fault.
So you're here now. That's all
Yeah.
that matters.
Yeah.
Now you've been doing something wonderful within Manchester. Lots of your photography is circulating.
Sorry, before you go any further.
Yes.
Okay. My sister, I'm ashamed. Okay. Let's break down your surname.
Oh.
Let's break it down phonetically, because I'm not going to insult you by going Okachukachoa, because that's not what it is.
It's over Chukwu.
Why can we say
I was
Vladivostok?
right, weren't I?
You did?
Chukwu.
Yeah.
Ugachukwu.
No, it's a silent
Come on,
W.
now, get it
It's
together,
a silent
Carol.
W. It's a silent W, so you just go Ugo Chukwu. Don't pronounce the W. Then you got it.
Ah.
Chukwu.
Ugochukwu. And what origin is that?
It's Nigerian.
Oh, it is Nigerian. I didn't want to assume.
No, you're right.
Okay. Well, nice. I have met you before, but you probably don't remember. I was at the same exhibition that you had your picture. And my husband's pictures were chosen to be in that exhibition as well. And I said hello to you.
Tell me about your photography, please. Tell us
Okay.
all about it. Where does it start from, first of all?
So the project that you were talking about was at Manchester Homes. The Home Gallery did an exhibition at the beginning of the year, a long time ago now, isn't it? And it was my kind of obsession with stairs. I used to take pictures of stairs because you might not know I'm in a wheelchair, so a lot of it's to do with I can't get in, and it's to do with access, and I can't get in. But so it's a bit of activism going on there, thinking this is wrong, I need to do something about it. And then I started looking at just how beautiful some stairs are. It's a bit weird, but the architecture of the stairs were beautiful, and it kind of took on, just carried on from there. And everywhere I went, I just take pictures of stairs. I still do that today. So that kind of got me into photography. And also it doesn't move, so I haven't got any problem with access. It just doesn't move, so I can just take it however long I want to on the photograph.
That's amazing.
That's
isn't
right.
it?
They are beautiful images, though.
Thank you. And they're all of well, the ones I've chosen for like all of Manchester. So like you might, some of them are not even open now. Like Common, there's a picture of the stairs going down on the yellow and blue door. That's going down to the Common in the Northern Quarter, and then the stairs by Manchester Deansgate, the tram stop. Yes, there's just kind of my kind of love letter to Manchester and just the architecture.
That's lovely.
What's your favourite then? The old architecture of Manchester or the newer, more glassed, greenhoused buildings of Manchester?
I think they both have the place, but the older one, I think it just says about the history, doesn't it? That it's an industrial city, and it has a lot to offer. So yeah, I think the old. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Stockport? Because there are some stairs, Underbank and places like that. There are some stairs that, if you stand back, and I've done this, it's only just come to my mind now, but I've done this where I've stood back and looked at the stairs of where you can see where people have walked the most, and they're worn. And it's beautiful. Because somebody's well-trodden path, many people's well-trodden path. See, I'm picking it up. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Exactly, absolutely. You'll be obsessed now with stairs and how looking at them. But this next project's got nothing to do with stairs. It's more to do with the scars. So it's more personal project that I've done recently, and it's going to be exhibited opening on Sunday online with part of Dada Fest International, and it's looking, because I've got loads of scars of my body because I've had operations, and you just you knock yourself doing something really annoying and you got a scar, you go, why is that there? I don't like it. And it just triggered off like how it's like a diary of our life, the scars that we have, and the instance that we've had. It could be self-inflicted or through trauma, through operations or stuff like that that's happened to you, but it's like a memory. You forget the trauma of the physical, kind of the mental experience, but you've still got that memory of the scar. So that's kind of fascinating me as well, to take photographs of that and get people to send me their photographs, because it's during lockdown. It's been hard to do this photography project, to be honest.
It's not just images, though, is it? You're dealing with words as well and translating some texts. Tell us about that.
So what I've done was have, because of lockdown, I was originally to go and speak to people and get them to tell me about their stories and to take photographs of their scars. So I've had to change it. So they've sent me their photographs kindly, and they've recorded their stories of how they got it and the meaning behind it and how they feel about it, or they've written text, and then I've just got some, because it's disabled festival, I've got actors to speak the words of what they've written for me.
That's brilliant. Have you done any talks to students and photography students?
No, I'm a complete amateur. I'm self-taught. So I'd feel very intimidated to go and talk to students. But you never know. After this, they might want to see my exhibit.
Yeah. Because I think the passion that you have, but also as well the creativity, and their learning techniques. I mean, I lecture at a creative college, so we do music, media, games and events, and within the media we do film, video and photography. And I know that, and I've just finished an industry week where I had a 200 contributor festival of industry people. Some are self-taught musicians, musician who is deaf, self-taught and so on. So it's about the whole creativity and it's about the passion, and I think you'd be brilliant talking to the students, because you can and you will and you have.
Thank you. Well, you got my details, so
calling you, you'll be like, oh, she's the one that can't say my name properly.
No,
you'll be able to soon. Before you go in, Ngozi, people that are with the scars, they should celebrate these scars, shouldn't they? And if they wanted to be photographed by you, would this be something that would be able to be done?
Absolutely. The project's still going on. So this is the first phase of the project, and was going on until next year. I'm going to take some more photographs of myself and possibly some other people in a studio and be more artistic about it. And I want to use a different processing types called cyanotype. So the cyanotype is the original architectural, going back to my stairs again, the architecture, the original architectural blueprints that was done on cyanotype. So I want to play with the processing as well. So if people want to get in touch with me, they can contact me on all social platforms. So yes, this is Ngozi, and reach out to me and we can try and, make it happen. I'll be very grateful if people want to still be involved in my project.
Excellent. Ngozi, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You've done it again.
What?
You've brought us another inspirational show.
Oh, stop.
How do you do it? I don't know how you managed to do it. It's quite amazing.
She's fab. She's fab, isn't she?
She's fab. He was fab.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what else we've got coming. In the meantime, let's have a quick look at what's on the box.
Hi, I'm Hayley and welcome to this week's On The Box. How's everyone doing? What have you been up to? What have you been watching? Have you been watching I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? Let me know your thoughts on that. Do you actually like it set in Wales? Drop me a tweet at HeyKate, HayKate, and let me know what you've been up to. Now, on a slightly more serious note than I usually talk to you about, I suppose that a lot of you will be aware that last week was Anti-Bullying Week. Now, I wanted to mention this because ITV are helping the Diana Award with the training of 10,000 anti-bullying ambassadors. Now, you can train as an ambassador and be an ambassador if you're a teacher or a student in a school. And Loose Women's Brenda and Andrea did actually create a short video about themselves as young people, about what they experienced at school as well. I was also bullied throughout whole of school, really, and it does affect you in a big way. I wouldn't wish what I went through on anyone. So if you are able to train as an anti-bullying ambassador, do pop online and look it up on the Diana Award. If anybody out there wants me to pop into their school and talk to pupils there about my experiences, I'll just put it out there. I'm very happy to do so too. Now, on a slightly more, a less serious note, on the 22nd, Dolly Parton's new film, Christmas on the Square, entered our living rooms on Netflix. Now, I'm planning to watch it in the next week or so once the Christmas tree is up. But all the songs on there have been written by Dolly, and they are brand new songs just for that particular musical. So do watch that Christmas on the Square. Looks absolutely fantastic. Nice, cozy film. Christine Baranski stars as well as a modern day Scrooge. So I definitely recommend that one. Now, that's it from me. I'll catch you next time. Bye.
There we go, indeed, everybody. That was our Hayley telling us some nice, important stuff there. Yeah. Now, staying with nice, important stuff. Stop it. Staying with nice, important stuff. Let's have a look what we've got for you here on Your Manchester and for Prevent Breast Cancer.
Join us for the Prevent Breast Cancer virtual Christmas celebration.
That's right. It's on the 11th of December, 7 p.m. Now, what can they expect?
It's going to be festive and it's going to be fabulous. It's hosted by me and the lovely Belinda Scandal. We're going to have a host of things to entertain you, from musicians that are super talented. We've got choirs.
Oh!
And a few faces these guys might recognise.
Oh! So that is the 11th of December, 7 p.m. Tickets?
Well, you just have to go to the Prevent Breast Cancer website and it's all there for you. Tickets are free, but any donations are really, really welcome. And it doesn't matter if you're young or you're old, just come and join us.
Indeed, 7 p.m, 11th of December. Be there or be...
Father Christmas?
Okay. Well, Well, there you go, see? So that's an important event that's coming up as well. We've got loads of events over Christmas, haven't we?
Yeah, the 11th of December.
Yeah.
What time again? 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
And it's free, so please make some donations.
Indeed, definitely. Also, we've got our lovely show, our big Christmas spectacular on the 16th.
We have, I can hear Santa. Getting ready.
I thought you were going to say, could hear Santa coming then, but anyway!
No, there was no way I was going to give you that carry-on moment. I'll be joining this here one. She'll be on the naughty list on the 16th of December. I think you will.
Do you think he'll put me on his knee?
Can we focus on this guest, please?
Well, yes, there's Kate.
You're extremely naughty.
Nobody's on the naughty list this year. We've had a whole year of being on the universe's naughty list. We need some time off.
It's been a strange old year.
Esther, shop local.
Yes.
Love your local market. Do you remember that campaign?
I do remember that campaign. It came out the Porter's Pilot Review of High Street.
Tell us about that.
Oh, God, that was a long time ago. That was the first sort of celebrity involvement that the government did, and they thought, well, if we get Mary Portas and she has a look at our high streets and she can come up with some ideas and when we can put some money into it. So it didn't quite work out how they planned, partly because, as usual, they didn't put the money in that they promised. But what happened out of that sort of campaign to be a Porter's Pilot town was lots and lots of towns got together as groups, and you had to make a promotional video as part of your bid, and some of the videos just made you cry. They were really good, and lots of communities who didn't get the Porter's Pilot money actually went on to do fabulous things. I mean, Levenshulme Market, for instance, that came out of the movement of people getting involved to do their own Porter's Pilot video because they had the freedom. It's totally community-led. And that's, for me, that's what's going to get places out of this year is when local authorities and parish councils and all those nitty-picky tiers of government actually listen to the real people who are using the high streets and pay attention to what they're saying instead of just assuming that they know best.
Because big brands have taken over, haven't they?
Yeah.
Big brands have taken over, and I miss the community. I mean, I live city centre Manchester, so you don't really have until you have the makers markets that arrive that sense of buzz about coming together as a community to sell local products.
I've been talking to the team behind the makers market. We will have them on at some point. We will do.
Lovely.
And when did the penny, the nugget drop, the idea of Foodie Friday? When did that come? Because that was round about the same time, wasn't it?
It was. Foodie Friday was launched for the very first Love Your Local Market weekend. So I'd done all this, gone through all this research. Like lots of local authorities, they spend lots of money on consultants, and then they never listen sometimes to what comes out the other end. And the thing that came out the other end of all the research and all the scrutiny reviews that the councils had done was that the food at Stockport Market wasn't good enough. There were too many people doing the same thing, and there wasn't anything interesting to bring new customers into the market. So I was trying to sort of work out ways of how I would maybe do an event that would encourage people to start looking at Stockport as a town in a different way, so that sort of these newer street food type people would think, oh, actually Stockport Market's not what I thought it was. It's much more attractive. The area, let's face it, Stockport Marketplace is absolutely gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and so many people don't go beyond Mersey Way. They don't go into the old town, and that's the old town of Stockport is where all the interesting independents are. And I had this airy-fairy idea that if I could start a street food event, then it would just change how people felt about Stockport Town Centre. Definitely. And it did.
And it did, yeah, it did. It worked really well because parallel to that, I was commissioned to do a creative festival where I got lots of different people to do creative things, and I had different pockets around Stockport, and I can't remember who it was that basically put us together. She just saw this name on a sheet, Caroline Whitehead, and she was like, oh, who's that? And then I walked in and went, hello.
And so it went.
Blackshaw's Cafe, our very first meeting.
Blackshaw's Cafe.
Blackshaw's Cafe.
So what about if somebody else is in their local community, and obviously when we get out of lockdown, they want to set up something like that? because it's important. How do they go about doing that?
I think the first thing is to get a feeling for whether there are enough people who enjoy different types of food to make it sustainable. So I started in the summer. We started as a trial in our local football club in New Mills. We started doing some street food to go with because it was a lovely sunny day, and we thought, well, the bar's open, we'll bring in a few extra people. So the very first trader at New Mills Football Club was Kay Delicia, who now has a wonderful street food operation in a double-decker bus. Wow. In a double-decker bus in Disley railway station car park. Her food's amazing. So she was the first one, and everybody loved it. And it's only hit me recently that New Mills Football Club is probably the only flat bit in New Mills, because it's like this everywhere. You know, when you come to trade with me, you have to have your brakes checked before you come.
Quite right.
Things slow down, go down the hill, and this is we just brought in all sorts of people completely, because it was in the middle of town, but it was flat. And now within, I'd say, 10 days of opening up bookings to street food traders, Foodie Friday people, and people who know me from the other events I do in New Mills, it was booked up to the end of the year in 10 days.
Fabulous.
From scratch. So you've got to have a relationship with your traders where they trust you. You've got to find a venue that you can work with. I mean, the beauty about working with the football club is they've got a board that are open to all my daft ideas, and I've had a few. Fortunately, in some ways, due to lockdown, I've not been able to put some of them in place. But they do loads of marketing. They're totally supportive. They really listen to the idea of actually starting to do things differently. And you do need a partner. You need a collaborator.
Yeah.
And that's all the sort of COVID recovery stuff that I did during lockdown, all the training that I could get to, thank God, because it was all free, was how important collaboration is. And you've got to work with people. You've got to listen to people. Yeah. And everybody loves to eat. I'm surprised at the weird stuff that, I can present anything. And
I was just going to say that the good thing about a lot of these foodie events, as I like to call them, is you learn a lot about different cultures and different foods. And, you can taste, can't you? And you can learn. And it's all about re-educating yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Esther is a brilliant cook as well.
I'll be the judge of that.
No, it's not. It's not the cake. It's not just the cake. I'd like go to her house and she'd be chopping something and she'd go, "You chop that," and I'm going, "What we doing?" I have no idea. Just do as they're told. And she goes, "And this is a thing with a bit of a avocado and a blah and a whatever." And I'll just go, just put it in.
Well, this is what I'd be thinking too.
Can I just and I'll go, that goes. That's nice.
Because then you can't really. You have to decide what you're going to wear then once you've eaten that much, don't you?
Elastic waist. Always elastic waist.
I've got to show you these trousers.
I'm a feeder.
Look at these trousers, everybody. Aren't they gorgeous today? They're from a company called Isabella Loves, and we've got a little VT, and this is all about them.
Yeah.
Isabella Loves, and that is isabellaloves.com if you want to get any of that lovely stuff. Now, like I say, helping a small business out there. They're based just outside of Wigan in a place called Lee, and they've got the most lovely products going. Now, you wanted to talk something very important.
Oh, stop! Look at you. Do you know, everybody? It's just like having a toddler. It's like having a toddler. I'm going to ask Esther something.
You ask what you need
and
to.
Please don't get it on that top.
What?
Do not get it on your top.
It's all right. Don't worry.
We should have got some serviettes.
I've got you a slice. What's everybody else having?
Right, Esther. I know about this initiative.
Let the meat cake.
Yeah, Marianne's correct. I know about this project, but I want you to share the community engaging project of heirlooms. Can you share how that came about? Because I think with the pandemic, with things that are happening, I think this is something that people an idea that they could emulate and do for themselves moving forward to bring the communities together.
Yeah. And if you're watching the Tom Kerridge pub recovery programme at the moment, he's talking to a community pub in Scotland, and it reminded me very much of the starting out at Earlham's. So Earlham's was a community interest company that was following the Plunkett Foundation model. So if they raised money by shares locally and nationally. I think the furthest away that somebody bought shares in the shop was Southampton or something like that, right on the south coast. And the idea was no matter how many shares you had, you only had one vote. So nobody was more powerful in the organisation, so you could only afford one share, then you had the same right to vote as anybody else. And in the village of Style in Cheshire, there used to be a village shop. Well, there have been two village shops. When the mill had been a properly operating thing, it had the company store where you could go and you could sort of pay by hire purchase to get your goods and your food and whatever.
There's a post office as well.
Yeah, there's a post office as well. So, but all that was left, was the local shop, which had been the post office and the newsagent, but it just shut for ages, and then it had become like a hairdresser's, and then this had shut. But it's on the National Trust estate for Quarrybank Mill, so which we know, and opposite a lovely pub. And because it was on the National Trust estate listing, they wanted it to go to a useful purpose. And they were willing to give it away at a peppercorn rent, which is a really, really small rent, not market rent. So people were allowed to bid for ideas. And the bid that won was the local village's idea that they wanted to have a village shop. Because if you lived in Style, you couldn't get a pint of milk within walking distance. You had to, the nearest place you could get a pint of milk was the petrol station on the way to the airport.
So how long did it take from... And I know that our other guest is here now. But how long did it take from actually the shell that it was? Because it was empty for how many years?
It had been empty for a couple of years, but we had everybody in the village who could lend a hand did. The actual transformation of the building took hardly any time at all and was done for nothing because people volunteered their time, people volunteered their skills and paint. And
it was like that Nick Knowles programme. You know that Nick Knowles, but usually they do it in about 3 days. This took a few months.
But yeah, it was over the summer, and my office was outside the tree. I got the Wi-Fi installed almost as soon as I got the job. My office was outside the tree. It was underneath the tree, rather, outside the building, and suppliers who wanted to bring stuff in and sell things to the shop are still open. They're still volunteer run. They won the Queen's Award for volunteers last year.
A Queen's
Award for volunteering.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, I'm going to speak because somebody's got a mouthful of Malteser cake with Maltesers.
It is stunning.
What did you say? Ovaltine or Horlicks is in it?
Let's have Horlicks, but I bought the wrong thing.
Hopefully she'll fall asleep in a minute.
Oh, stunning. Absolutely stunning. Go on. Miranda's here.
Can I introduce our next guest? Are you there, Miranda?
Hi, yes I am. Hi.
Oh, it's like a seance. Where are you?
I'm at home.
Are you at home? You've got your high vis on. I thought you were on site.
Yeah, I was just trying to be a bit fair share.
Bit fair share. Fantastic.
Fair share is, Miranda.
So we're a food redistribution charity based on New Smithfield Market in East Manchester, and we're part of the Fair Share network across the country. And pre-lockdown, we were very much about distributing surplus, unwanted food from the food industry to frontline charities and community groups and schools. And then COVID-19 came along, and we got involved in the big food response, and so we've had quite a year, and we gave out nearly 1,000 tons of food during lockdown 1, and we're still working very hard thanks to our amazing volunteers.
That's fantastic. And you came to our network because I'm a member of the Manchester Business School Women Leading in Business, and you spoke to us about a recent visitor and the naming of one of the buildings. Tell us about that.
So at the start of lockdown, a footballer found Fair Share and decided to get involved, and I think everybody's now heard of him. So the wonderful Mr. Marcus Rashford started supporting Fair Share and encouraging everyone to get involved supporting Fair Share throughout the lockdown period. And meantime, we've been developing our new warehouse project and refurbishing a building on the market that's going to enable us to give out 3 times the amount of food we're giving out at the moment. And when the campaign happened in June and the free school meal vouchers scheme was extended into the summer holidays, that was a really great achievement by everybody, led by Mr. Rashford. And it also meant that, lots of families didn't have to go to a food bank because they were getting that support, which meant our food would go even further. And he's stuck with the issues, as everybody's seen, really with dignity and authenticity, speaking about what happened to him and how he wants things to be for children and people growing up now. And we just wanted to recognise that amazing achievement and show our respect by asking the family if it'd be all right to name our new warehouse when it's finished after his mum, Melanie.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. What we want to do, we'll put all the details up so that people can, because you're looking for donations as well, because you're still looking for donations, so you can complete the work that you can do. And I want to thank you so much for coming on. And if possible, I'll come over with some of the team. We've got to arrange that so that we can help you. I look good in a high vis.
I'm sure everybody does. Yeah, we'd love to.
And you can tell us what we can do and lend a hand.
Yeah, and if you have any.
Excellent. All right, then. What's the weather going to be like this week, Paul Rudd?
Good evening, Belle. Good evening, Carol, and welcome everyone to this week's weather forecast with me, Paul Rudd. Now, it's getting a lot colder, isn't it? You need to get your hats, gloves and scarves at the ready. And we're going to have 2 good days and 2 bad days. So let's have a look at my weather maps. Here's the weather outlook. Take a look at this. All right, Thursday is looking sunny and cloudy with the temperatures around 8 degrees Celsius. Friday is looking sunny and cloudy with the temperatures around 7, and this is where it goes bad. Saturday is looking like rain with the temperatures of 7, and Sunday is looking like rain with the temperatures of 8. A mixed week weather-wise, so stay tuned for next week, keep watching, and it's now time to hand over back to the beautiful Belinda Scandal and the lovely Carol Ann Whitehead for this week's episode of Your Manchester.
literally can't cope with him anymore.
Oh,
I can't.
do you
He's
know what?
just too fabulous for words.
He is fabulous. You know, he's lucky there's a pandemic and the social distancing. I'd be getting the mistletoe out.
Get the mistletoe out.
Oh.
In fact, just before we go, because we have got to wrap up in a minute, but she's arrived. She's been later than never. Sue from Isabella Loves. Hello, Sue.
Woohoo!
Hello. Oh, hang on. It says pause. Am I on or what?
You're on. You're on.
Oh, I'm on. It says pause.
Yes.
I'm having a
Hi. How are you, Sue?
having a nightmare with tech tonight, Belinda. It's a nightmare.
Oh, it's not a problem. Just very quickly, because we haven't got much time left, if you could just quickly tell us where Isabella Loves is, where we can find them, and tell us about your fantabulous shop.
Right. Okay. So I've got customers absolutely driving me. Oh my God! You are messy. It's gone.
Oh, what's happened?
She's she just turned the camera off or something. There you go. Oh! Now you're in the dark. Oh, there you are. Speak to us, Sue.
No, I keep getting customers sending me messages. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a seance.
Oh, right. Right. Oh, what a nightmare. Right. So we are in Lee, which is not a million miles away from Manchester at all. We're a little boutique. We just strive for people to come in. We cater mostly for ladies with curves, and we sell a lot of the one size pieces, which are brilliant for any size really, from a size 10 right up to a size 20 plus. And our motto is, just because you've got curves, why do you have to, wear black and be dull and boring? There's no need, because there's so much nice fashion out there, and you can look the business, and that's what we strive to achieve.
Amazing.
Do you like what I've done with the scarf?
I'm impressed. I'm so glad that you took that piece. I had a feeling that was that you'd be giving it all that. I love it. I love it.
Bit of style. We've had a very good show today. We really, really have. Yeah. Just before you go then, Sue, where can we find your lovely products?
Okay, so obviously you can visit us in store, but we've recently, only in the last few weeks, set up a website. So just go straight onto IsabellaLovesAllOneWord.com, www, depending what device you're using. So you can shop via the website, but we really encourage as many people to come and visit us as possible, because we have a real truthful, me and the girls that work here, we will not let anybody walk out of the door and not be a good representative for the brand. We give real honest feedback, and we're really proud of that. It's like someone could walk out the fitting room, it's like, nope, get back in there, you are not, nope, we're having none of that, try this instead. But our ladies love that, they love it. We do it in a nice way. We people come back.
Small business owner.
You want my
I had a scarf here a minute ago. I don't know what I've done with it. Because I got a lovely scarf from your place the other day.
Yeah.
And what I love best about it is, one side of it I could wear during the day, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and the other side I can wear in the evening during this job, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's fantastic. You've got amazing, amazing products. And I think the thing that people most importantly need to understand is the fabric. The fabric choice is just excellent.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah. And I never order or buy anything online myself. I literally have to go and touch the fabric and feel it and know that I'm happy with the quality. So that I know that you've got to have that feeling of you're selling the best quality at a really good price. I have a real strict price caption as well. I very, very rarely sell anything under £30, above £30, should I say. So, we've got the Black Friday offer at the minute. There's 20% off. We've got that many tops. The top that you was wearing last week, Belinda, that was one of ours, wasn't it? That you would get in the store at the minute now at £13.59. An absolute bag.
I love that top.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Gorgeous, isn't it? So nice. So nice.
The prints and everything is stunning. Sue, we've got to wrap it up there because we've got to go, because otherwise my helicopter doesn't wait for me. So Sue from Isabella Loves, everybody, thank you so much for your time. There we are. And henceforth ends tonight's show.
Oh, she's gonna actually snap. Do you know what?
Yes, love.
There's crew and everybody that needs to have a bit of a cake. Oh, look at you feeding me.
Maltese, you've worked very hard. Make sure you check out the podcast, everybody. Big thank you to Esther, big thank you to Carol, and a big thank you to you all out there for watching this week's episode of Your Manchester.